see if this goes live. Maybe. All right. It looks like we're live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube as well, huh?
Yeah. And then
I didn't realize you could go live on YouTube.
it's double streaming. That's why I got this little guy. It does
Merlin, you've gotten super high tech. I'm going to snap a photo. Are we live?
We are live, yeah.
Awesome.
All right, let me just do the theme song here.
Merlin, the theme song.
Welcome to Photography Chat.
I upped the production value a little bit this year.
Photography Chat with Merlin.
Yeah, I was Moko Only. He's a skateboarder from Vancouver, and also like I was Moko Only. He's a skateboarder from Vancouver, and also like a great rapper. And he did the theme music for me.
So cool.
Welcome to another episode of Photography Chat. We are season 3, episode 39, and we've got Mr. Jason Lee here.
Hello.
Welcome to chat.
I was just, thank you for having me again here.
Absolutely.
I was just commenting to you how much you've upgraded.
Yeah.
You invested in some gear. So I'm going to take a photo here with the old smartphone with you in it.
Oh.
And I'll just put that on the old story later to show everybody what it looks like. Before you just had your computer with a monitor, right?
Oh, it wasn't even that. I did it just off of an iPhone and like a Bluetooth speaker.
That's
how I was
amazing.
doing it before.
Now, as people will see, you've got what looks like a DJ setup.
Kind of.
Like a techno electronic dance music
Oh,
DJ
shoot.
setup, kind of.
I forgot. I need to... She can say hi.
Edie, hi. We are live on the social medias. Edie just got home from school.
How was school?
Was it good? We are here in my little studio. The kids just got home from school. We are live on the socials, as they say.
We're on the internet.
On the interwebs.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy setup now.
It's super high tech.
Because it's first I started with the iPad, and then someone was like, "I want the audio to be better," so I ended up buying this Rodecaster thing, and then the video stuff was the next thing to happen. Doing this the ATEM stuff. So like this little guy streams straight to YouTube.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because my friend Big Head Taco, he's been trying to convince me to move platforms and switch over to YouTube for this stuff instead of Instagram. But,
so you've got it covered on the gram and the YouTube.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Edie, is it okay if I have a little chat with Merlin? Huh? And then we can play after? Okay? I love you.
It's good to see you, Edie.
Ready? Oi.
Is the audio a bit better now?
Can you close the door, honey? Thank you. Oh, she got all bashful. I love you.
Is the audio a bit better now? Or, I don't know, Instagram, this is like one of the reasons why I've been thinking
Oh, is this maybe scratching around
Oh, no,
a little bit?
yours is
Okay.
fine. They're saying that like it's flat, but
Okay.
It's fucking Instagram gets grumpy about like connecting Bluetooths and shit like that, so. Yeah, but it's been kind of a wild adventure doing the chat thing. But yeah, so we're here in your studio in Los Angeles, and you just had an amazing opening. I don't know if you want to talk to everyone about that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, down in San Diego 2 nights ago, we had an opening of an exhibition of prints from my Morning Walk series. And it was great to, I saw Grant Britton and a bunch of skaters and people that I've known that live down there over the years from the skateboarding world. But yeah, Point Loma Nazarene University in the Keller Gallery there.
Yeah.
The show's up through October, and it's the first time I've shown any of the photos in person. And so, yeah, it turned out great. It was a great opening, and it was nice to be down in San Diego.
So how did you end up getting hooked up with those guys?
There's this really cool guy named Nicholas. He's the photography teacher at a school in Riverside.
Okay.
So he's pretty connected to the kind of college arts scene within Southern California.
Nice.
And he knows the guys down at PLNU.
Okay.
And he and I have been talking a lot over the years. And he said, oh, there's a great college down in San Diego. They have a really cool gallery down there, a great arts program.
Mm-hmm.
You should do a show down there. You know, he's just one of those really cool guys that likes to support the arts and connect people, which is really awesome. And so he just reached out to them, and they said that would be great.
Nice.
We got on a Zoom, and then I got, you know, the schematic of the gallery and photos of the gallery, and I thought, oh, this is a really cool spot.
It's such a beautiful spot.
It's a great spot, great space to show in.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to show some morning walks prints. I started that series in March. I started bringing my little point and shoot Nikon 28 Ti.
That one there?
Yeah, this one right here. It's for anybody interested in point and shoot cameras.
It's like
I love the 28 Ti.
That's like the holy grail of point and shoots.
It's got the fancy little dial on the top, but yeah, just on my morning walks, which I take pretty much every morning, I just started bringing my 28 Ti along with me and just kind of documenting the neighborhoods and stuff on Kodak Gold 200 film.
Nice.
So, you know, just collecting images from my morning walks, and then I thought, oh, that might be, it's San Diego, not LA, but it's still Southern California. Great space to show this work in, and maybe we'll do that. And I pitched it to them, and they loved the idea, and so I started working on it, and then we had the opening on October 4.
Where is it here?
Did you have a technical difficulty again?
No, someone just had a question here. Is
San Pellegrino.
Grant Britton still shooting? There's only ever old stuff on his feed. Grant is still shooting.
Yep.
And Grant does like wild stuff. But he's kind of like, I think he's pretty selective of what he posts on there. Because he uses his Instagram mostly for business. So like when he's posting stuff, it's...
Yeah, I love that. I look forward to his posts.
Dude, that shot he took of you, so nice.
Oh, the silhouette shot. Yeah, I have Grant's book right here.
Oh, that's such a great book.
Yeah. Just give Grant a little plug here.
And, you know, shout out to Tim Raigo, Kodak professional. He's like everyone's film daddy. Tim is the best.
This is Grant's new book called Push by Ginkgo Press, and it's a selection of his 80s skate photographs. And needless to say, it's a deep dive.
It's so good.
It's a great book. So it was nice to see Grant. I hadn't seen him in a while. I go back to the 80s with Grant. And yeah, just an amazing photographer.
Yeah, he's
with so much history.
Well, and like his skate stuff is legendary, but like his fine artwork,
it's great.
Is exceptional.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I was blown away. Like when I interviewed him, he was the first person that was like, "Hey, do you want some sample photos?" And I was like, "I've never thought about that before." But he's like, "Yeah, don't you want people to see my shit before like you talk to me?" And so
I think everybody knows who Grant is. Or
yeah, but the thing was wild though is like everyone knows his skate photography, but not a lot of people know his like creative stuff.
Yeah, it's really great. It's really great,
dude. It's his shadow play.
It's really great.
I don't think anyone else plays with shadows better than he does.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah,
it was good to see Grant.
Yeah, likewise. He's such a rad dude.
He is.
Yeah, that's and like the guys in San Diego seem really cool. I was curious, what gave you the idea for the morning walk stuff?
Well, we are living again in the Los Feliz area, where we used to live, up near Griffith Park. We used to live up there, and occasionally I would take out this same camera. This was about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And on walks through the neighborhood in the hills, you know, with black and white film, I would occasionally shoot as we would just be out on a walk. And then now that we're back in this area again for about a couple of years now, I thought, oh, I can bring the camera out again on my walks. Because these hilly Los Feliz neighborhoods, and sometimes I walk over and up to the observatory, just the neighborhoods are just so interesting. You know what I mean? We used to live sort of on, like, in Pasadena and the kind of outside of LA, where it's just a lot flatter and a little bit more sort of residential. And being in these kind of tight, windy, kind of hilly neighborhoods, I don't know, there's just something about it that I really like. And, you know, walking down to Franklin and then all the way over to Vermont, and in those neighborhoods, the neighborhoods north of Los Feliz Boulevard, even walking over to the observatory, the Silver Lake Observatory, and just kind of walking, just mainly for exercise purposes. But then having a camera like this allows you to kind of just document the environment. I know that Henry Wessel used to do that a lot, going back, you know, many, many years with his M6. He would always take walks and just kind of document the neighborhoods. And so it became something that I started doing again now that I'm kind of back in this kind of photogenic, you know, area of LA, but using color film now, which I'm really liking, because there's a certain pop to that Kodak Gold 200, and just the, you know, just the plant life and the flowers and the different colors of some of the garage doors and the fences and the, you know, there's just kind of a very colorful, strange kind of world around these parts.
There's a lushness here.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
It's craggy, it's gritty, but it's also pretty. It's a little jumbled, mixed up and jumbled, but it's got a lot of character.
Dude, so much character. Like, it's been really cool exploring around here. Now, you said Silver Lake Observatory. Is that different?
Reservoir.
Is that different from the Griffiths?
Well, the Griffith is the observatory.
Okay.
Silver Lake has a reservoir, a body of water, and you can walk around it. And those hilly neighborhoods are really cool too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when Armand and I were here last week, we went up there, and that's the first time I'd ever been to Griffiths.
It's so great up there.
Dude.
I mean, usually, sadly, it's really hazy, and so you can't. I mean, on a really clear day, you can see the ocean, and the view is phenomenal from the observatory. But being that it's LA, and the air isn't always very clean, it tends to sort of be a little hard to see,
a
little filmy.
In my hotel this morning, there was like no view. It was just smog.
Yeah. But it's great up there, and the observatory has so much history, and all those hilly neighborhoods are really fun to walk around in. Just all the different architecture and windy driveways and plant life, and it's a really special part of LA. This part of it, you know.
It was really cool to go up there, because you just recognize like all the movies you've seen it in.
Oh, for sure,
and
yeah.
It's kind of a trip. It's like I'm walking in the same place now, and you know, LA. Well, even Vancouver's a lot like that.
Yeah.
Like you were just watching. We were talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I always think about that Leonardo
Did you just say DiCaprio? How do you really feel about DiCaprio?
I like him, but it's just an old habit dies hard. But when he does that like whistle point, thing, and like I always feel that when like you see a place you recognize and you're like, oh I know that place.
Yeah, there's a lot of recognizable, familiar places here.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I'm recording live right now.
That's all right.
What's up, sweetie?
How do you write Happy Valentine's?
My other daughter wants to know how you write Happy Valentine's Day.
Valentine's is the best time.
Yeah.
I'm making it for Mommy.
Oh, that's very sweet. Here, I can write it for you, and then you can copy it in your own handwriting if you'd like.
That's really
You have a pen, sweetie?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much history here and so much character, I feel like. Okay, that's a Sharpie. Let me see if I can... Okay.
That'll work.
I'm making it
That's so nice, Birdie.
My friend John in Vancouver is like, I want to make a Mallrats reference, but I'm resisting.
Oh, that's okay. I'm down for that.
Dude,
There you go.
just let her rip, John.
Happy Valentine's.
No, Daddy,
Okay.
I'm
So you can copy that, sweetie, on a different paper.
I'm writing this for Mommy.
Someone just
Do you
called
want
you.
some art paper? And your markers? So you can use different colors and stuff? Okay, I'm gonna get you some art paper.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Here you go, honey. Take that inside, sweetie. Okay, close the door, honey.
Yeah, I mean,
Dad life. That's one of the things that I look forward to is being interrupted, actually, which I'm constantly interrupted with all the kids we have.
how many do you have now?
We have 5 kids.
Holy shit.
The oldest is 19. The youngest
Oh yeah,
is
that's right.
3.
It was just his birthday
Yeah, uh-huh.
the other week.
I mean, I don't go more than like 12 to 15 minutes at any given time working in my office without somebody coming in.
Just
Can I have a
asking
popsicle? Can you help me write Happy Valentine's? And it's awesome.
What's been like the wildest interruption you've had? One of them pull where you're just like, how did you even do that? But you can't really freak out about it.
It's usually just them wanting something, you know. The fun ones are like, Daddy, can you come wipe me? You know, after one of the littles have gone number 2, that's always fun. I'm in the middle of working. Dad, can you come wipe me? Sure, I can't wait.
Yeah, so I live for this.
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
the whole reason I had you for it.
It's all fun.
Yeah, I didn't do the kid thing, but I live vicariously through my brothers. They have a
Right.
pair each, boy and girl.
Right.
And my niece Colby, I got her into photography when she was
Right.
like 5, and I gave her my old iMac,
Mm-hmm.
and my brother's like, she makes me feel stupid because we were trying to figure out how this iMac works.
Yeah.
And she's never seen a computer before, and she's teaching them how to use it.
Wow.
And so she's like mastered iMessage and all that stuff. So I get like random texts from her on the computer.
That's
of, like,
crazy.
the most ridiculous things. But it's cool seeing like photography from like that view.
For sure.
And what's important.
The
to
little
them.
girls each have exactly what they're interested in.
Yeah.
They each have those little Instax
Oh,
cameras.
those are so cool.
And of course, I have to say, it actually costs film,
Yeah.
or it costs money. Don't just fire away. So you have to kind of walk. And my kids have also shot point and shoots over the years. When they were younger. And they're used to the iPhone where you can, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can just go nuts
you don't
with
want to stifle them at all, but you also have to remind them that it's film and it costs money and there's only so many frames.
Yeah.
And then you have to put a new roll in. So, you want to be encouraging, but you have to also let them know that it's not just an iPhone where you can just click, 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 click. There's some money involved,
I did that with my niece Colby and her brother Noah. I went there to visit a couple months back, and I got them reusable disposable cameras.
Okay.
Because I thought it'd be kind of fun to shoot some stuff with them. And my nephew went ripping outside, and I could hear his mom Dawn say like, Noah, like leave your camera inside. And she's like, it'll be fine, because it was like one of those Ilford ones that had a lanyard.
Oh yeah.
And then like 2 minutes later, I hear like blood curdling crying, and like he tripped and smashed the camera open. And he's like, Uncle Merlin's gonna hate me. I let all the pictures out of the camera. He was just bawling, and so
no.
I like went into his room and I'm like, buddy, like it's cool. Like I don't hate you. Like of course I still love you. And I was like, you didn't let all of the pictures out. Like some of them are probably gonna be okay,
Sure.
but like some of them might have like weird like lightning bolts or like
That could be cool. Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, it's kind of like art. And he's like, I made art. I'm like,
That's rad.
Kind of. And then. So his camera's janky now, and it needs to be held closed with tape.
That's all right.
And so I throw another roll of film in there, and he comes back like a couple hours later, and he's like, look, I finished another one, and he has it open.
Oh, yes. That's amazing.
I'm like, buddy, no.
Oh, that's great.
Ask for an
Wow.
adult to help you rewind it.
You
before
got to
open
rewind it first. Yep. Wow.
Yeah. But he's like, but I made art, right? And I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have told you that.
Well.
Because like now you're just going to do that on purpose all the time.
Yeah.
But in this
They've gotten used to with these though, knowing that it's something different. I don't think they totally understand film, but they've gotten used to it enough to where they know there's no screen on the back kind of thing. You know, that it's different
Yeah.
than an iPhone, and that they get really excited to look through the viewfinder and.
So I had a 35 Ti,
Yeah.
and the panorama switch burnt me on
What
the
do you mean?
Tulsa trip.
You had it accidentally clicked over,
I put it
so
in my
all your
pocket.
photos were
Yeah.
cropped.
All the pictures that Anne took of the two of us are all cropped with that stupid panorama. So when I still had it, before I sold it, I gaffer taped the panorama thing. And I'm
I've
like,
never had. Now I'm double checking mine. No, it's off.
well, it's because I used to just shove it in my pocket.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I learned the
Great
hard way.
cameras. Great
A
cameras.
beautiful camera, and the watch movement on top is actually made by Seiko.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a real watch
Okay.
movement.
I like the Olympus XA4 as well.
That's a
the
cool
28
camera.
millimeter little. That's one's even smaller than this.
Yeah, and it's got that
And
little
lighter.
flash attachment that you can put.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah, I
good
love the
camera.
little pocket cameras. They're great.
So why Kodak Gold for the walks?
Well, I used to shoot the Fuji C200,
Okay.
which is, I guess, a little bit lower grade, you know, and I liked it a lot, but it was a little bit sort of, I don't know, the Kodak stuff, the gold felt a little,
Sorry.
Oh,
John said the same thing I said to you.
what did he
but,
say?
Yeah, would anyone like a chocolate pretzel?
I mean, the amount of times I've heard that over the years is
Yeah. I mean,
innumerable, but I appreciate it very much.
I felt like a dick when I said that to you in Boston.
No way, I love it. It shows that people care,
Well, and that's kind of
that
like,
they're paying attention.
well, and I was kind of like, I may never get a chance to say this to you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
my ex-wife wanted me to say something from her best friend, because her best friend growing up had like the biggest crush on you.
Uh-oh.
And she was always like, I want to have Jason Lee's baby, and I want to name it Random.
That's crazy. That's very random.
Random Lee.
Randomly. That's awesome.
And I'm like, I'm not going to say that to him for the very first time.
But now you have, and on live.
It's on the internet,
yeah.
so there you go, Megan. He knows.
Randomly.
You're welcome.
That's funny.
So that you started with the Fuji 200, but then decided you wanted to go.
Yeah, I wasn't, I don't know, the Gold 200 has a certain kind of like gritty pop to it, I think. Do you know what I
It has
mean?
a nice warmth to it too.
Yeah, I don't, I'm, with the bigger, I've always only just used Portra.
Yeah.
Like with the 120 Portra or 4x5 Portra. And then I did some Portra through this, and I did some Gold 200 through it. And I liked the Gold 200 more with this camera and for what I was doing with the walks. You know what I mean?
Nice.
I just liked the way it looked and felt, just what I was shooting.
Hey Tim, did you hear that? He likes shooting Kodak over Fuji.
Oh, I've been
Kodak
shooting
200.
Kodak for Portra is my go-to
No, it was just funny because
on the
when
bigger cameras with the bigger cameras.
I was catching up with Ray on the chat, he was talking about how he used to really love Tri-X, but then he started shooting Ilford more.
Black and white Ilford is my go-to. Sorry about that. Because I love the Delta films a lot, the Ilford Delta films.
The Delta films are great.
Beautiful.
Day 19 is wondering
Jeremy.
how the opening was.
Oh, it was awesome. Thank you, Jeremy and Claire. Out in Jersey.
Dang.
If I'm not mistaken, they're still out in Jersey. They used to have a cool gallery here in Highland Park.
And Alan says he misses Boston right now.
Alan is must be in Alabama then.
He is, yeah. He's got bitchin' long hair. And-
Alan grew his hair out.
Yeah, he grew
Wow,
his hair out.
okay.
Looks like a rock star.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I think Boston misses him too.
Boston was cool.
Boston was like wicked cool, man.
Yeah.
I
You just said wicked. Don't they say that in Boston? Wicked?
wicked ass him.
Wicked ass him. Yeah.
It was a wicked pissa.
Yeah. That's how Merlin and me met. In 2018, I did a book signing at the Leica store in Boston. Thank you, Alan, again for that. And Merlin was there. You had come down from Toronto.
Yeah, and actually, so that was a big turning point for me, actually. And Armand and I were talking about this in the car.
I came with Armand.
Yeah.
Because I was living in Denton, Texas at the time.
Yeah.
And Armand, who owns Denton Camera Exchange, he went with me to Boston on this event. And that's where I met Merlin. Merlin was there at the event.
Yeah, and it was a big turning point for me in a way, because like I just moved to Toronto and I was having a really hard time integrating in Toronto. No. And mostly that my body was like, no, you're a Pacific guy. And so I had like wicked insomnia living out there.
Yeah.
And so I was up at like 3 a.m. and I saw that you had just posted the Leica thing.
Wow.
It was like 1 a.m. Pacific.
And you got in your car and drove?
No,
Oh.
I bought the tickets.
Well, you bought the tickets.
Yeah, because it was like posted 25 seconds ago, and I was just like, there's not a lot of tickets. I should probably buy this.
And what's that drive from Toronto to Boston?
Geez, I think it's like maybe a day and a half.
Whoa.
I flew down for that one though.
Oh, you did?
Because I was gonna drive, and then
Yeah,
I
that's a
had a
pretty
bunch
far
of
drive.
points and decided to just do that.
Okay. And now you're in Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver. Yeah.
Can I grab the paper?
I just gave you some paper, honey.
I used it.
Oh, you need more? Okay.
I gave it to Mommy.
Oh, you did? Okay. Here's some paper.
But how do you feel happy?
What happened, Edie? What
What's up,
happened?
Uwe?
She didn't try her bottle. She didn't want it. Now she tried and she does want it.
You like the bottle? Your new bottle? Okay.
Uh-oh.
Can you help her, Bertie? Thank you, sweetie. Yeah. Okay, you can have your other bottle. Here you go, Bertie. Can you please take that in? Okay.
We'll be right back. What's up in Toronto, Chris?
Right
I
now.
think the
And
thing
girls
that's
keep coming
hilarious
into
right
the
now
office.
because Jason's
Do you mind?
wearing
Sorry.
a
He just,
wireless
I guess she just
microphone.
wants her bottle.
Is,
No,
he's
there's nothing wrong
you
with
can
your
hear him.
bottle.
I can't
just
hear
doesn't
him, but
want
you
it,
guys
though.
can.
And Bertie, I helped you last time. Maybe Mommy
Okay,
can
here,
help you
let's
this
just-
time with what?
We're gonna mute him for a moment.
Dad life.
Yeah, hashtag dad life, right?
Oh yeah, dad life. It's the best.
Yeah, Boston was like it was a wild thing for me because I bought those tickets.
Yeah.
And then I immediately freaked out because I was like, what if you're an asshole?
What if I was an asshole?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
man,
then
I
it just
should have
like-
been one to make your dreams come true.
No, that would have been the worst. Because like I don't know, you're up there with a bunch of photographers that like have who really inspire like my own work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, shit, if he's a dick, that's gonna like really ruin stuff for me. So luckily you weren't.
Thank you.
And Armand was also really amazing.
Armand is a sweetheart.
Armand is a sweetheart, and like meeting Armand was like a very big turning point for me because
Yeah.
like through him, that's where I learned about the Instant Film Society and all
Sure.
of that, and like none of this would have happened if I didn't go to Boston.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
you're,
mean,
you're a
I-
big part of that story.
Thank you, Merlin, and it's good to be friends after,
Dude, it's great.
still friends after 4 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of wild actually.
I mean, the bottom line is I like to chat. I like chatting about photography.
Yeah.
I remain inspired every day as a photographer, and any opportunity I can get to talk about it and hang out with rad, nice people and talk about photography, it's super fun. Much like skateboarding, hanging out with skaters, skateboarding, reminiscing about skateboarders, talking about skateboarders who inspire me. Same thing with photography. I mean, I met Henry Wessel, who's one of my
When did you meet him?
who sadly passed.
Oh goodness.
But I met him in 2010, I believe, and we hung out for an afternoon, and I shot an 8x10 Polaroid of him. And we kept in touch via email, but I didn't see him again after that, and then sadly he passed, But he's one of my photography heroes, Henry Wessel, for sure. And when I met him, he had already been actively shooting for 40 years, I think.
Oh wow.
And he still carried around his M6, which he always had on him. And he was as excited talking about photography with me as if like he had just started. And he had been shooting for 40 years at that point already, and had so many books published, exhibitions in museums. I mean, he was a big...
And he was still
He was in
stoked.
the New Topographics exhibition in 1973 at the Eastman Museum in Rochester. I mean, he was a big photographer.
Yeah.
He was giddy like a kid talking about photography.
That's beautiful, though.
And that's so inspiring to me, because I feel like when you're really passionate about something, when you care about something, when it motivates you, and there's a cool community around it, it's just fun. There's no bullshit.
Yeah.
I love taking road trips with photographers. I like meetups. I just love nerding out about stuff. It's fun. Like, what kind of film do you like? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? Here, borrow my camera. Here, let me borrow yours. And it's just all fun. And if it's not, then why do it? You know what I mean?
Someone had a question for you on film here. What film stock in 35 millimeter medium format would you love to see in large format?
That's a good question.
And Matoria says that he can still help with the dishes.
He can still help with what?
The Lee household, gotta love it. He can still help with the dishes.
I can still help with the dishes. Did Matt do dishes here before?
I guess so.
Matt is from NorCal. He's a sweetheart. Another great, cool person from the film community. You know what I mean? And I'm also on a group text with Matt Burt and Eric Bouvet, because we're all diehard Dodgers fans. And we talk crap about baseball and stuff. And that's been, I think that group text has been going on for years now.
That's right.
But and we've been able to go to one game, me, Eric, and Matt, at Dodger Stadium. So that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Film in large format. Everything's pretty much covered for large format, 4x5. Yeah. I don't think there's any films that I would want to see bigger that aren't already available in bigger sizes.
I think I'd like to see double X in like 4x5.
That's cool.
That'd be cool. They like Cine still teased about it,
Okay.
but you know they do that a lot, which is kind of mean.
Yeah.
Andrea asks, what is so inspiring to take pictures that most people don't think twice to look at?
What is what?
What is so inspiring to take pictures that most people don't think to look twice at?
That's a really good question. Wow. Wow, that's a great question. I think it's kind of like skateboarding, where, you know, once you get... Are you laughing?
No, Ryan Ackerberg is like...
Oh, I love Ryan Ackerberg.
He said, "Go Giants."
Oh, Ryan Ackerberg, you suck. Ryan's a good friend, but he's a Giants fan.
I like Ryan.
Yeah, I think once you get the bug, you kind of just see things. It's almost like skating, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
as a skateboarder, you see the environment differently, I think. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
there's not only do you see things maybe that non-skaters might not see in terms of like skatable terrain, but there's a kind of spontaneity that gets in you, and you just kind of you move with some kind of strange curiosity. And
Yeah, absolutely.
and with photography, it's the same thing, like some odd thing poking out or where it shouldn't exist kind of grabs your attention, and it might be funny. It might be some odd, ironic kind of scene, or some beautiful, interesting shadow lines, or there's some things just poke out and you notice them maybe in a way that somebody might not. And it's interesting for some reason or another, and you just, on your morning walk with your little dealio, you just kind of walk by and snap it. You know what I mean? Or you pull the car over and get the large format camera out and the tripod and the whole thing, and that's a little bit more tedious, but
that's a lot more tedious.
It's kind of a gut feeling. It's kind of an instinct. It's kind of like an organic feeling, kind of drawn to something for various reasons. You know what I mean? Sometimes the lighting, sometimes a scene might kind of remind you of something you've seen in a movie. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're just familiar feelings. It's all kind of feeling based ultimately. And then so you shoot it, you know, if that makes sense.
Oh, it totally makes sense.
It's a kind of organic feeling based thing, I think.
Well, and what's cool when you see like really good work is it makes you feel too. And that was something that like I got off of Plainview, like we were talking about that down south, is that like looking at your book, even though I'd never been to that part of Texas up until just recently, it reminded me of like my childhood, like the road trips my dad would drag us on, and like there's like those nondescript kind of places that you drive by.
Yeah, a lot of that comes from that too for me. Growing up in the 70s and road tripping up, we have family in Northern California.
Oh, nice.
So a lot of summers driving into the mountains and the redwoods and going fishing, and you know, there was just a certain feeling and kind of smell in the air. I don't know if anybody's from the West Coast here listening, or Ryan Ackerbert, certainly, Matt. But there's in the summer when you would go camping as a kid, there's that warm pine needle smell in the air.
Yes.
And it's one of the best smells ever. But I remember like the gas stations and the redwood trees and the cars we would be in, and the smells and the gasoline and the pine needles, and then watching films like Paris, Texas, which of course Robbie Mueller, the cinematographer, is a big inspiration. His color palette in Paris, Texas is phenomenal. That was an inspiration for me. When I was living in Texas and driving around with the 4x5 camera and making exposures of just kind of wherever Texas. So I kind of draw from, you know, feelings from memories and childhood and certain colors and certain architecture maybe. But again, it's all very spontaneous, you know. There's nothing better than like coming upon something, just being in some random town somewhere, and there's a scene that kind of gets you excited, you know.
Yeah, Alpine was like that, driving.
Alpine's great. Highway 90, isn't it?
Yeah. That was really cool.
When you were there recently, did you get any of the cotton clouds, or was it just blue?
It was just blue. But
when you get those Texas cotton cloud skies, it's insane.
There were some crazy like anvil clouds through Arizona though. And that was kind of wild. And then just also like seeing all the cactuses.
It was so great.
Like a forest of cactuses. That was super weird to me, because I'm like, it's cactuses, but it's like, that's what like a pine forest would look like back home. Yeah. It was kind of a trip.
It's great. In between California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, and then, you know, Colorado, Utah. How does it go? Colorado, Utah, and Nevada. You know, that whole square, I've covered so many miles within it over the years, and it's just the best.
Oklahoma is super cool. Like just like through the Midwest.
Oklahoma's great. You know, you can take Highway 395 from Southern California. Yeah. The 14 to 395, and you pass Mammoth Lakes and all that, and then you take the 6 through Nevada, and you go up into Colorado, Utah, Colorado. And then you cut down into Taos, New Mexico, and then you go along the river that way. And then you end up on 40, and then you go 287 down into North Texas. So I would do that sometimes, and that just yields amazing photos.
When we went to your show at the Philbrook, we drove through like parts of the old Route 66, and like one of the coolest parts was we went through Catoosa in Oklahoma, with like the blue whale of Catoosa, and we got to meet the keeper of the blue whale. Catoosa.
That's right, you told me about that. That's so cool.
Blaine, he was just like such an odd character. Yeah, and I'll never forget his story about the like tornadoes. Yeah, because he's like, I've survived 4 tornadoes.
I like the accent.
And I was like, what? And he's like, and when I say, or no, he's like, I've been in 4 tornadoes, and when I say it done picked me up and brought me to a new location.
That's crazy.
And so he's like, when I hear that tornado siren, I go on down to the cement shit house. You'll see it down there. It looks like a safari hut, but I hunker down in that shitter until it's all clear, because I don't want, like, the law of averages states I should not tangle with a fifth.
That is fantastic.
But he's just such an interesting character, and
Yeah.
I was really blown away by how friendly the people in the Midwest were.
Yeah.
And just like open to share their stories, and like,
For sure, yeah.
It was really cool.
For sure. Yeah, it's the best being out on the road and kind of just ending up places that you've
Yeah.
never been.
like,
I've stayed in little towns of population 50. I've been chased out of towns population 50. Honestly, like just roaming the little neighborhood and with my camera just shooting out the window of just different structures and stuff like that.
And people get grumpy.
Followed by a guy in a big kind of red tow truck.
oh,
And he got out of in some small town in Oklahoma. When I was roaming Oklahoma shooting photos there for that exhibition.
yeah.
And he goes,
Is that book ever
what do you-
coming out?
Yeah, it will, yeah. What are you doing here? No, I'm sorry, I'm just a visiting photographer. I'm just admiring your town. And he did not like it at all. And it was really kind of scary. a little bit.
That sounds a little scary.
And then I see in my rear view mirror, almost like a Hitchcock movie, you know, I'm looking in my rear view mirror and I see the truck behind me. And as I get out of the town, I see in my rear view mirror, he pulls away. And, you know, so I was like, okay, good.
You're like, okay,
I
it's
made
safe-
it.
it's
I
safe
made
now.
it. I made it, yeah.
Armand and I had like a bit of a movie moment after breakfast.
Right here in LA at Astro Diner. A guy with a crowbar threatening your lives.
Well, I mean,
I heard all about it.
so it was funny when Armand told Zane about it. The very first thing Zane said was like, "What did you do to provoke him?"
Wow.
And I mean, it could have been de-escalated a little bit, but it was sort of my nightmare. Like, the last thing I wanted visiting LA was to have like a whole mob of LAPD and the chopper. The chopper came out.
That is crazy.
It
And
was
you
so
were in the
loud.
parking lot shooting an 8x10 Polaroid of Ray Barbie.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is the first and last time I'm ever gonna see Ray Barbie.
Oh.
Because Ray was just like, I want to go home, and he was like trying to stay away. And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry about this. He's like, man, I just want to go home, but I don't want to go near my car because I don't want that guy to know it's my car, because he threatened to smash your car up. Because like the guy, it was kind of funny because the whole thing started because Armand said he was tougher than the guy. And he's like, oh, you think
Armand said that.
yeah, he's like, you think you're so tough? And Armand's like, yeah, I'm pretty tough. And he's like, I don't think you could survive what I've survived. And Armand's like, I could survive what you survived 10 times over, dude. And the guy's like, all right, you get ready and I'll get ready and we'll see who's tough.
That's amazing.
The
Wow.
dude deked around the dumpsters at Astro, and like while I was
Came back with a crowbar.
yeah, no, but he prepared.
But
So-
where did he get the crowbar, though?
In his shopping cart, I'm guessing, because he like pushed his shopping cart around the
Oh,
corner.
he had a cart with him. Okay.
Yeah, and
I thought he just went off and randomly found a crowbar and came back with it.
And yet he was shouting from like over behind. He's like, just a minute. I'm getting ready. We'll see who's tough in a minute. Just one more minute. And then
That's
he comes
amazing.
out like with the freaking crowbar, and Armand ran away from him. And he's like, not so tough now. And he's like, I'm gonna fuck your friend's truck up. And I'm like, please don't. It's like a work vehicle.
You should have been like, I'm not even from here. I'm Canadian.
Well, that's what I said. I'm like, I'm from Canada. I'm visiting. This is a work truck. And I don't want to try to explain to work that like a dude in a ski mask with a crowbar smashed the
He
shit
had
out
a
of
ski
my...
mask on.
He put a ski mask on.
That's amazing.
Dude, it's like nightmare fuel.
That's a movie, right? That's a movie scene right there.
It's
So
such
that
a
was your
movie.
Hollywood experience.
And I was like, dude, this is not a believable story. Like, if you fuck my truck up, work is not going to be like a homeless dude in a ski mask with a crowbar did this to your truck. No, like this,
Wow.
not very believable.
Wow.
But the best part though, Armand keeps running away from him. And the guy's like, you're such a tough guy, you keep running away from me. And then he finds a Wiener Schnitzel cup on the ground filled with some who knows what liquid. And he picks it up, and while Armand has his back turned, just lobs it at him. And just like direct hit, like right in the small of Armand's back. It's like all over the place everywhere. And it was like that dude's proudest moment. Like he was like, it was like he was in like the end box in the football game doing like the dance. And he's like, woo!
He was actually doing that.
Yeah, he was like
This guy,
so
wow, this
stoked.
guy sounds like
It was like his
character.
proudest moment.
he
he's
did
probably
that
had.
and then got arrested.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, for assault with a deadly weapon.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. And the cops are like, we know this guy. Like, don't worry.
I should have been there because I would have challenged him to a dance-off. and I would have let him win, even though I could actually win over that.
Yeah, because they just.
If anybody's seen My Name Is Earl, you know I've got the moves.
Dude,
and I would have let him win, and then he would have like walked away, just stoked on the win, the dance victory, and no violence would have taken place.
Well, like, no violence really happened. Like, there was like verbal altercations, but like, you know, Armand deserved the Wiener Schnitzel Cup. I'll say that.
Really? Yeah. Uh-oh, Armand, he's calling you out.
Yeah.
But you did get the 8x10 Polaroid of Ray.
Yes, and you can see how worried Ray was.
Wait, so you the guy got arrested, and then you made the exposure?
No. All of, like, the escalation was happening while I was taking.
So you're literally under the dark cloth, like focusing.
Yeah.
And Armand's fighting with a guy in a crowbar.
Well, he was provoking him, and like Armand's like, "Yeah, I'm tough," and took his shirt off, and he's like doing like fucking punch.
That's amazing. I wish I was there, man. That is so crazy. You're in the parking lot of Astro Diner. You're composing a 8x10 photo of Ray Barbie, who's just an absolute legend. And Armand's behind you, like getting ready to tangle with some random dude in a ski mask and a crowbar. You can't write that.
No, you can't.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's that was my Hollywood moment.
Okay, that's a very exciting moment.
Yeah, and then I met a friend for lunch at Astra, and he's like, "This place must be good if you're willing to come back after experiencing the crowbar man."
Mm-hmm.
Which it absolutely was. Dave Sinadar said that it's beautiful to see the success that you've had because many skateboarders don't see that. Growing up, his brother was like, "Yo, check out this skateboarder," and that was the first time he saw a 360 flip.
It's so awesome. I love Dave.
Yeah,
he made that great book with all the portraits of the photographers.
Dave's so awesome.
Yeah, Dave is awesome.
I
Lopez is in the house. Eric Bouvet is in the house.
Bouvet's in there. Tim Raigo saying skateboarding and film culture and community so interrelated.
Ryan Ackerberg's there. Matt's there.
Yeah, Ackerberg is busy trying to prop up the Giants. I think he's like the only one.
Mm-hmm. I think he's the only one.
Sorry, Ryan. I couldn't help it.
I think Ryan's just bummed that the Dodgers are the best team in baseball and the Giants got eliminated.
JR says, "I mean, look at you. You're the kind of guy that begs for sex. I should know. We can smell our own."
Yep. Yeah, that's a Mallrats quote. Yep.
My favorite one was like, "What? I was relaxed."
Oh, yeah. Eric wrote, "Love pine trees, but hate sap."
I do love the smell of the pine trees.
I love the smell of commerce in the morning. There's another Mallrats line.
Dude, so Kevin Smith did let a little hint about Mallrats.
A Mallrats sequel?
Yeah, and he said that Ben Affleck is totally game, and his new progression of the character is he's going to be a senator, which seems perfect for the douchebag from Fashionably Male.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm open. I'm totally open to doing a kind of Where Are They Now Mallrats sequel.
Alan says he admires how you can breathe life into a scene that would otherwise be passed by. Very cinematic, and I can see why you're a fan of Christenberry and Wenders.
Awesome. Thank you, Alan. I love William Christenberry. Alan is from Alabama, and that's where William Christenberry is from, the photographer. I think the first photo book that I got was a William Christenberry book of his photographs of rural Alabama, Hale County, Alabama, where Christenberry was from. This is a good book. Let me recommend this book if I can find it. William Christenberry, his Kodachromes.
Oh shit!
Yeah, this is a great book. Beginning in the 60s, and then going all the way into the late 70s. But it's a selection of William Christenberry's Kodachrome photos.
Those are beautiful photos.
This is a great book. But yeah, his stuff was some of the first that I had seen, and I liked it.
Sorry, people are making a crowbar reference to The Big Lebowski. And he's like, this is what happens when you fuck a stranger in
Was
the
he a
ass."
nihilist? Yes. Oh, he's a nihilist. Oh, that must be exhausting. When the dude goes, oh, that must be exhausting.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's character in that movie.
So when he goes,
Yeah, he's like, ooh, it's like, he can watch, but he has to pay $1,500. And that's why we love her.
yeah, he's so good in that movie.
He's fantastic, like such
yeah.
a great movie.
Amazing.
Um,
Amazing actor.
Where else here? Let's see what, okay, we caught up on questions, but we got one here. Have you tried the re-released Ektachrome? Dave's curious about that. The new Ektachrome, have you tried it?
I have not, no. Is it good?
I'm not really an Ektachrome person, so I didn't like it. Everyone was like raving about it, so I tried a roll. And it looked fine, but the problem I had with it was it's really cold looking. And if I wanted that kind of like cold blue look, I'll just shoot Fuji and not have to deal with E6.
That's kind of why I like the Gold 200 over the Fuji C200. The C200 was a little bit colder, and the Kodak stuff's a little bit redder, a little bit warmer.
Well, a friend of mine, he's like, here's the trick with film. Look at the box it comes in, and that kind of is like a hint of the hues. And he's like, yeah, and he's been right about it, because every time I've shot, it's like Fuji, great greens and blues, Kodak. Dude, Hegfa Vista, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
That was a cool film.
Yeah.
I was sort of bummed when they killed off that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the Agfa Scala, the original Scala.
Yeah.
Unbelievable film.
Do you still have a stash of it, or?
I do. I have some, yeah.
What is your like most sacred film?
My Polaroid 8x10 Polaroid films that I still have. Most of the black and white stuff is dried up, but
That's a shame.
but I have 809. I have some boxes of 809, the color stuff. The chemicals stay on that pretty well, but it gets streaky. But you still you get a full spread of chemical spread on that stuff. Whereas the black and white stuff is a bit hit and miss. And then the Scala stuff that I have, incredible film. All the black and white stuff for the Oklahoma show
Was all Scala?
medium 120 Scala film. The original stuff. Yeah. And DR5 processed that. DR5, Dave isn't really processing stuff right now.
Yeah.
But he processed the Scala stuff absolutely beautifully.
That was such a nice exhibition.
Oh, thanks, man.
I love that one, the big one that Steve printed for you. That Steve had the crazy story behind it of like scanning
The kind of quiet, dilapidated shack, kind of just in the middle of the field. Yeah. That was Scala too. That was Scala. And then, the way he had to put that thing together to make a print that big was crazy. But the Scala stuff that I have is really important to me. Hopefully Dave will, be up and running at some point, so that he can process that Scala. But
Sinadar says that's on his agenda to learn the DR5 process.
yeah, talk to Dave. Dave loves to talk chemistry. Ryan Ackerberg actually is living in Ohio now, and they got to meet up, which is really cool. But yeah, Dave Wood loves to talk about chemistry and film. And Dave, you should reach out to him. He would love to hear from you.
Yeah, and 809, it's something I've wanted to play with, but it's so expensive on eBay. It's bonkers.
I used to get my 8x10 Polaroid film at Sammy's Camera, and it was like $100 and something bucks a box. Yeah, and I could just go in and grab it off the shelf, fresh, back in the day. And to my fault, nobody ever thought there would be iPhones and that film would almost die out. and that there would be social media and all of this stuff, smartphones, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to my fault, I probably just took it for granted. Like, oh, I'm not shooting this. It's not in the refrigerator. It's in some box. You know, like I was probably a little bit
Aloof with it.
a little bit irresponsible, just thinking, they'll keep making it, and then of course that didn't happen.
Well, they still make it, but they don't make the peel apart 8x10 anymore. It's all integral, so it's flipped around.
It's flipped, and it has that plasticky sort of coating.
Yeah, the
Mylar.
the
Yeah,
Mylar.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the original a lot. It was. I was shooting the 664, the 100 speed black and white Polaroid film off my Mamiya RZ67 back in the day. And I was like, oh, this film is really chalky and gray and beautiful. I wonder if they make it in a bigger size, and that's when I found out they made 4x5 and 8x10. You made me a drawing? Oh my gosh, Birdie.
That's beautiful. Happy Father's Day.
That is so sweet, Birdie. Thank you so much.
That's great work, Birdie.
I have some of the kids' artwork
Right here, look at
on my wall here. Some of Birdie's drawings. My son did #1 dad. So we're gonna live pin this up on the board, okay, Birdie?
So Edie made this, Sunny made this,
Yeah, that's so cool.
and Edie made this one. I made this one for Christmas, but Edie ruined it.
Oh, Edie ruined it.
And this is Edie's, and I think I made this. And
Look, Boo-Boo.
this is me as a mummy.
I know, I love that. Some of her drawings remind me of Tim Burton. Like,
Yeah.
they've got a little bit of a Tim Burton vibe.
Two
I like
little
it.
snowmen.
Oh my gosh, look at this. Happy Father's Day. That is so amazing, Birdie.
And I made this.
Yeah.
And
We're doing a little art studio tour of Alberta's drawings.
that is anyone.
I love, and this is a new one that you did.
No.
Where you, yeah, you did this recently, where
Yeah.
you drew the hearts. Were you?
Yeah, I helped you put that up. That was
Oh,
last
Merlin
week.
helped you put this up.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Merlin was here last week. Cool. Thank you, Birdie.
What are you guys doing?
We're
We're
on the internet.
Yeah, we're on the World Wide Webs.
You're on the internet right now, and there's a bunch of people watching you, and then we're on YouTube too.
Ooh.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
still
all,
wearing my PE uniform.
Thank you so much, sweetie, for the amazing drawing.
I'm done.
Okay, here, you can take this inside, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there's actually only one piece left. You can have it.
Stanley Phillips is asking you, what are you going to do when everything dries up or not enough to do any projects with? I'm guessing for the 8x10.
Well, the plan is to use it all and literally just kind of publish it all. So even if like I get just this much of an image, you know, on a sheet of 804, the black and white stuff, just keep it all. Do you know what I mean? Like,
You are in it now.
take it all out on the road as if it were fresh, and whatever I get,
get.
and show that. And the idea would be to do like a 2-book set, or like the front half of one book and then the back half of one book. The front being the original stuff, and then the second half of the book, or the second book being all the expired stuff.
Oh, that'd
And
be
just
cool.
see how the two play against each other, to kind of get an idea of like what it could look like, but what it actually it ended up looking like with the expired stuff, as opposed to I didn't get the photo, so I'm going to rip it up and then just keep trying, burning through film to get the photo.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get whatever I can get and just keep it all and kind of edit that way. You know what I mean?
That's wild.
And do a kind of almost like a before and after kind of vibe, you know?
That's colorful buttons.
Yeah, the colorful buttons make noises. Here, if you put this on, you got to come closer.
Is it loud?
Oh, no, it's not really loud. So this one is the Price is Right button. It's like music to like.
That's it. Do you have the
Dude, of
losing
course.
horn?
This is what happens when you get like the really bad pull on Polaroid. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Oh.
That's the best. That's amazing that you have that.
That's so funny.
It's really funny, right? And then there's like applause. Yeah. That's what people say when they see your art. They're really happy about it.
Yeah, and they clap
Yeah.
and cheer.
You want to press one? There you go. You can hear it. And then what's this one? This is laugh.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
You gotta have dinner
You want to do
first.
that one? You want this one?
We're just on the internet now, Bob.
Right?
Go ask mommy what we're gonna
sound
do
so-
for dinner, Bob.
Wow.
You sound
Hey,
so
Sonny.
loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
No,
fun, right?
you gotta have dinner first.
Oh, you got to push it one time.
Thank
Just
you,
one
Bob.
time, just a little tap. There you go. You did it. Now you gotta like walk down the aisle and be like, yeah, I'm on The Price is Right. I'm gonna win big.
Okay, let us finish, Birdie, okay? And then I'll come inside.
So
You can have dinner.
New Old Polaroid says a petition for all future photography chats to be hosted by Alberta.
Yes.
I like that.
How do I
Okay,
press
one more,
it
and then you
off?
gotta go inside, Boo Boo.
Just one
How do
more.
I press this off?
Just push it down.
Oh. And then
Oh,
just
that's
push
the
one more time.
clapping one.
Yeah. You did it.
No, it's still on.
Yeah.
Oh, the sound keeps going. Because this is
Yeah.
recording your dad now.
Yep.
Look.
Yeah.
All right, when we're done talking, you can come back and play with the buttons, okay?
Yeah, you can play with all the buttons.
I don't want to press the buttons.
I'll
see
come and
what
get
they're
you, Boo.
for.
Give me a hug. I'll come and get you,
Dad,
okay?
what are these?
Oh, this is
those
a
are
microphone.
And
This?
Eric says hi.
Wait, he does?
Yeah, Eric
Bouvet.
is right there on the internet.
Let me see.
You know Bouvet.
That's him and Weasel.
Wait, let me see.
Stanley's like, it should be Photo Talk with Alberta featuring Merlin.
Okay, Birdie, I'll come and get you, okay? Come on.
It was nice
Alberta.
hanging out with you, Birdie.
Birdie, I'll come and get you when we're done, okay?
Daddy,
Come
what
on.
are you guys doing?
We're just chatting about pictures and other boring things. That's Merlin stuff. Hey, Birdie, Alberta, I'm gonna come and get you when we're done, okay, sweetie? Yeah,
It
that's
is the
Merlin's
wagon.
gear. I love you.
She's hilarious.
She's amazing.
Your kids have great character, man.
Oh, thanks.
What other questions do we had here? Someone wants a book of her drawings.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
That would be really cool. Actually, I had a question that someone's like, oh my God, I'm dying of cuteness.
That's cute.
And they said she's a spooky gal. It's good though. It's important to like the kids have that kind of like interest in character themselves.
And encourage, yeah.
Yeah.
Every time they want to come into my office, I let them come in, and they have a little drawing station over there.
That's so cool.
You know, sometimes I have to say, you girls can't be in here right now because sometimes it gets a little distracting.
Yeah.
But most of the time, you'll find that when you encourage, like, yeah, come in, instead of not right now, and then come and draw, and they have their little drawing station.
And they do their little work.
They get quiet and they just get into it. And
That's
it's
right.
rad to have that energy in the space, and then always coming over, look what I drew, look what I drew, look what I drew, you know? Just trying to encourage that is, I think, healthy.
That's wicked awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
they like to draw, and we play tag in the backyard and all that kind of stuff.
when they're older, you can take them on the photo trip sometimes?
Oh yeah, my boy Sonny, who's 10, he's been on a few road trips. And I think the last couple of road trips he used this camera.
Nice.
And I have a box of undeveloped film, maybe 35 rolls of his from over the years. That one day when he's a little bit older, I'm going to develop those rolls, but
Oh, wow.
all with this camera from different road trips that we've taken. My eldest son, who's 19, I have photos that he shot when he was like 5 and 6. That's
cool.
one of the cool things about film is that it's archival,
Yeah.
And Alberta, who was just in here, she's burned some rolls of film with this, and
That's so cool.
but yeah, my eldest son and my youngest son, they've been on road trips. Yeah, they all of them have exposed film in different ways, over the years. And it's just, their curiosity is really inspiring, of course.
Yeah,
They are stoked to kind of just do anything. My 3-year-old will find leaves, you know what I mean, and put them together. This one's green, this one's brown, and just how fascinated they are by stuff. It's really inspiring because it makes you realize how important it is to kind of stop and notice and value things that are otherwise just kind of whatever everyday things that you see, almost kind of on autopilot. Kids kind of look at that, and like my 3-year-old Edie, she'll sit outside by my little sitting area and just play with rocks for 20 minutes.
That's rad.
And you're like, that's amazing. Adults suck. Because we always have shit to do, bills to pay, emails to answer. Like, I want to be able to go outside and sit for 20 minutes and be satisfied just playing with rocks. But there's always something that goes, oh shit, my phone buzzed.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to reply to that one email. Or, oh, I have that phone call. Or, oh, I have to go, whatever.
Going back to work next week is
right.
It's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Because I just want to run away.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got some wiggle room on the corporate card.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how long I can disappear for before they get upset about it.
Well, listen, you're going to take I've told Merlin to take Highway 1 up.
Yes.
And he's never been through Big Sur and all that stuff, so that's going to be incredible.
Raymond wants to know when dadlady.com is going live.
Okay, Ray Molinar is one of his family. He's a great photographer. We always joke about like dad stuff. Like, you go to Goodwill and you find like coffee stained 70s mugs and stuff. Like we were talking about starting a website that sells all that stuff.
That's amazing.
Dad gear, like used New Balance shoes, used tube socks, fanny packs.
Have you seen those?
Dad, like all used though, and maybe not even pre-washed.
To have that like dad
just the
essence.
the epic dad collection, where when you open your package it smells musty like a Goodwill does, like a thrift store does.
Have you seen those father-son videos where it's like the white
That's one of
dad?
the best things I've ever seen. If you've not seen it, it's the son's finally ready to start dressing like a dad.
Yeah.
He's like, you got to cinch the laces. He's doing this. Yeah, like this. Comb the hair back. Yeah. And it's the Docker shorts with the tall white socks, the white New Balance shoes, the tucked in polo shirt. It's so good, that video.
Yeah, they're in the restaurant and the waitress is like, "How was your meal?"
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "It's time." It's like, it was awful. Can't you see?
It's so good, those videos.
Those videos are so great.
Yeah. I'm all about the dad life. I'm all about dad gear.
That was what I think surprised me the most about Boston when we were hanging out with you there.
Was there a lot of people that were wearing dad gear, you mean?
No. Just that you like reminded me of like someone's kooky dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you were busting out. You had a couple of dad jokes that you busted out.
Yeah, I love dad jokes. My kids give me a hard time sometimes.
And then you do like the laugh with the knee slap.
I think you're such a dick, Merlin.
No, but I mean it in like a good way.
I honestly believe that it works like that. There's something built in, I think, just kind of generationally, where as you get older, that stuff starts to kind of get into you.
Yeah.
Like mannerisms, like I do the knee slap. And if somebody parks too far out from the curb, you need to learn how to drive, I'm
going to put a note on this.
I'm going to put a note on there. That stuff starts to creep in almost like a parasite. And it gets into you and you can't help but be like, you didn't use your turn signal. The kind of stuff my mom would say. You need to learn how to drive, mister. You know, that it's, I think it just kind of happens without you realizing it.
I think so, yeah.
And you know what? I'm okay with it, Merlin. I'm okay with it.
No, I didn't mean it in a bad way.
No, I'm
Like,
okay with it.
It was just like because I was worried about you being a jerk when I went to Boston. And I was like, nah, he's just like, he's a kooky dad.
Kooky dad. I'm okay with kooky dad. I'm okay with kooky uncle.
It's a great vibe.
Fun uncle.
Yeah, I'm a funkle.
Or you're a funkle.
Yeah.
Funkle.
Merlin. Yeah.
Funkle Merlin. I like that.
I need to get a bigger place so that when my niece and nephew are a bit older, they can come like hang out in Vancouver like in the summer.
And have a playroom for them.
Yeah, because like right now I'm in like a basement studio, and it's like, nah, that's.
But you got it set up though, right, for shooting photos and stuff, right?
No, so.
Or that's a separate spot.
It's a separate spot.
Right. But
so,
you have seamlesses and all that stuff for photo shoots and stuff, right?
Yeah, I've got some backdrops. I need to like this winter. I'm gonna like finish the darkroom in the bathroom, and then I want to do like a permanent mount for like backdrops because like right now I just set up like
That's
a backdrop stand, and it's in such a funky place. Like it's an old motel that
Wow.
they've converted into an artist residence.
Yeah.
When I met Kevin Smith during the Clerks 3 screening, I was like, hey, like, you know, if you have time, like, come by to this, like, studio that I'm in. It used to be a cracky motel. There was, like, a couple of confirmed murders, but, like, no one's died there since we've moved in. And Kevin Smith is like, you're really selling it, man. Like, just...
That's funny. Kevin went to film school in Vancouver.
He did. He went to VFS.
That's where he met Dave Klein, who shot Clerks and Mallrats. And Dave Klein went on to do big things as a cinematographer.
Yeah,
but
VFS
they met in
is great.
Vancouver. And then back in Jersey when Kevin was working at Quickstop. I think Kevin bought Quickstop.
Oh, wow.
I think so. They filmed Clerks there.
He shared a funny story about the Quick Stop where he was just like, he's like, there's an extra bitterness he has towards it because when he got hired, it was supposed to be in the convenience store side. But the guy that owned the joint owned the video shop and the convenience store, and he's like, hey, like, I'm hiring you for like the convenience side, but like every once in a while, I'll just get you to cover shifts in the video store. And then Kevin's like, the dude bait and switched me. It was just you're stuck in the video store, and he's like, hated the video store. Like, you know, he wanted to be where all the action was, which was the convenience store.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, movie stores are kind of cool. Like one of my old best friends, she worked at Movie Mart in Kamloops.
Tarantino worked at a video store, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And like, I'm kind of bummed out that movie stores don't exist anymore because like that it was a huge part of my childhood. Is like
big part. It was so fun to rent VHS tapes.
And you go in the place, it smells like popcorn, and like you go rent the VHS.
It was the thing. It was the thing. Yeah, I mean it's easy to reminisce and get nostalgic and sentimental and all that stuff. And this generation sucks. You know, it was better with VHS tape. You know, but in a lot of ways, a lot of that fun has gone out. You know, like you say, oh, what do you want to do tonight? Oh, let's go rent some videos. So you'd go to the video place. You'd spend what felt like 2 hours because nobody could make up their mind, right?
Yeah.
No, let's do a comedy. No, it's almost like scrolling now through Netflix. You're like, no, but you'd have to get in your car and drive, which was fun because then you would chat.
And then maybe you'd find a different adventure along the way.
Yeah, you'd maybe, actually, let's grab some donuts. You grab some donuts. Yeah. Now you DoorDash it, and you scroll it, and you're just on your couch.
Or
Super
it's like,
rad. I will DoorDash some donuts.
Or it's like you look at I don't like what's on DoorDash, and you do Uber Eats, and then you're like, what's on Netflix? Nothing good. What's on Apple TV? What's on like HBO?
It was fun to walk the aisles of a video store and pick the video.
And then I was always curious about like the forbidden back room because like, you know, I was never allowed back there. Most disappointing thing when I was like old enough to go back there was just like, and then the whole premise of it, I'm like, you're renting this thing that other people rented. And
you'd not rewind it, and you'd go, oh, I forgot to rewind the tape.
75 cents.
They're going to give me a penalty.
There's a funny thing in Clerks 3 about that, where it's like, you know, they had a rewind fee from like 20 years ago.
That's funny. That's great. Yeah. No, that was fun to leave the house and go rent a video.
I don't think I'd say, though, that this generation sucks, because like it's different.
Yep.
And in some ways different in a really great way, because they haven't really been given the best opportunities from the people handing it to them right now. Like, a lot of shit's pretty fucked up now. Like, I kind of feel like there was a lot more hope in like the 70s and 80s, and like you know, people that came up in that sort of era had a lot more opportunity. Now it's like, you know, my niece and nephew probably won't ever own a house. Like that'll be like a far out thing to even just like fathom owning a house kind of thing. And so it's like values have shifted a bit, and like what's important has shifted a bit. But it's really interesting to see how a lot of these kids are adapting, how they're creating, how they're like changing the paradigms of like what work looks like. Yeah. Because like the whole 9 to 5 and have a career and all of that, it's kind of getting blown out of the water right now.
And it is cool that you can go out with your phone and make a video. Yeah. And edit on your phone.
Dude, it's crazy. Like,
you know,
the iPhone blows my mind because like I'll just have a bunch of photos on here and it'll be like, hey, here's some memories for you. And it makes like a video, and I'm like, this is actually a decent video.
Our 14-year-old daughter applied to an arts high school for the cinematic arts program, and they had to make a 3-minute short video with their iPhones and edit on the iPhone. And you're not allowed help from your parents or anybody else. Oh wow! And she submitted it and got accepted, which was really exciting. So she's in high school now, and she did all of it with just an iPhone.
And it's wild.
It's and it's really, really cool what they can do with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like the iPhone, what the iPads can do and stuff blows my mind. Yeah. Like this thing never ceases to amaze me. Yeah, like the access to things that kids can make shit with now. Yeah, it's bonkers.
It is bonkers for sure.
Like, you know, I feel like a dinosaur trying to like piece this shit together and like you know, figure it out. And I'm like, if I gave this to my niece, she'd probably like be like, all right, this is how your show's gonna be better in like a half hour.
It's insane how filming something, editing with Premiere, and having something turned in by the end of the weekend. Teenagers are doing that kind of stuff now.
That's wild. What I mean?
Yeah, I love it. It's fantastic.
Is Casper thinking of like doing movies and stuff?
Huh? What? What? They're screenwriting class. They're writing, you know, sample. I have to turn the. I mean, look, I'm literally turning off the AC with this thing on my phone. That's so weird. They're right. They have screenwriting class. They're writing sample screenplays. They're editing. Everybody has a MacBook Pro. Everybody's using Premiere and editing, and it's really, really incredible how easily you can make stuff. And the other cool thing too, I think, is that when we were younger and coming up, we were all about sort of now. You know what I mean? I think that our kids now are also very open to the past and other, from, you know, types of music, bands, shooting film, pocket cameras. My 19-year-old always has a 35mm pocket camera on. So he's running camcorders, iPhones, point and shoot cameras, running Premiere, animation, Wacom tablets, and doing it's all and they're just into like, you know, there was a disconnect when I was a kid in the 70s and 80s. It was like, oh, that's my parents over there, and they've got their thing, their style, their music, right? I feel like, at least with my kids anyway, they're open to sort of things. There's more of the kids that I've seen through my kids, there's a lot of openness to the past. Older technologies, new music, old music, and there's just a kind of more broad openness, I think, with the kids these days.
Well,
I was not into certain things as a kid because they weren't cool or whatever. You know what I mean? I had to get older
to think it's
to go.
cool.
Oh, I actually like the old country music that my stepdad and mom were listening to in the 70s. I actually like Hank Williams.
Hank Williams is great.
I love Hank Williams, of course. I wouldn't, you know what I mean?
Woody
Like,
Guthrie.
that's not cool. I was only wanting to listen to the Smiths and Black Flag and stuff like that. So there was a disconnect, certainly.
That girl Nikki
There's
at
less of a
breakfast-
disconnect now, it seems.
That girl Nikki at breakfast the other day, she didn't know who Woody Guthrie was. And because like she was asking about my Nikon F5, which its name is Woodrow, because like I have that like you know, this machine stops time. And
Yeah.
she's like, oh, what's that about? And I'm like, well, it's like a tribute to Woody Guthrie, because like he would write "This machine kills fascists" on his guitar. And she's like, oh, who's that? And I'm like,
Yeah.
you don't know who Woody Guthrie is? Like,
It's trippy when you think that people, but I think to my point is that there's more knowledge, it seems like.
so much
Especially
knowledge.
with the more sort of creative kids, I guess you could say. You know, the kids that are more interested in movies, or
Yeah.
they go to maybe specialty high schools that are, you know, specialize in the arts or focus on the arts. It's like talking to teenagers these days about their favorite Bob Dylan records.
Armand says that you need to bring your track shoes.
My track shoes?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think he's talking about like New Balances.
oh yeah, for days.
Oh, Pete's here.
Oh, Pete.
Yeah.
Pete's fantastic. He's who bought my car.
He
My
did.
old town car. And drove it back to the East Coast from California.
Oh, Armand's like, you need the track shoes to run from the bum. Oh man.
That makes me super proud as a dad to have that kind of investment in my kids. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's super. And my mom was like that too. My mom was very cool about me skateboarding, even though I wasn't really doing well in school, and skateboarding meant I wasn't going to do school.
Yeah.
She was very cool about it. But it's very important for me to, and it takes a lot of practice, honestly, to sort of walk that line between being a friend and being a parent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, being super open to what they're into and not forcing what you are into.
Yeah.
And sort of walking that line between like, that's cool that you're into that. That's not really my thing. Check this out. See if you dig it. And you find really cool, the relationship gets interesting. The relationships with your kids get interesting when you can kind of share stuff. And so it's important to me that without pushing anything on them, sharing with them skateboarding, photography, the arts, movies, music, and just kind of seeing how they respond. It seems like there's a big openness with a lot of this generation, I think, that maybe wasn't there. I think it was a lot different when I was younger. There was more of a disconnect between the teenagers and their parents.
Well, yeah, there was it was like almost like a war kind of thing, like, you know, you versus them, and
New versus old.
yeah, you don't want to.
I think it's all a little bit more mixed together, you know, these days, from what I've seen anyway.
Well, and there's so much that, you know, kids can glean from like hanging out with older folks. Like, I never really had a problem with that when I was a kid, because like my best friend when I was like 5 was like this 72-year-old man down the street, Mr. Short, that he was a watchmaker for the Hudson's Bay Company.
Rad.
And so I'd like hang out with him, and he'd like show me like his workshop. And I mean, now it's like, you know, I tell people a story and they're like, did he touch you? Like, you know, you went in his basement, and I was like, okay. His wife did not like our friendship. She thought it was really weird that like her husband was hanging out with like this little kid, but like we sit on his back stoop and he just like talk about like life and the world.
That's
and
rad.
things like that, and it gave me a really different perspective. And
Yeah.
so I've always like kind of seeked that kind of thing and been more curious about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, why suffer through shit if you don't have to?
Yeah.
She looks a lot happier this time.
Yeah. She was bummed before.
Oh, so what does someone say here?
So she got a different bottle and she didn't like it. Hi, Edie. What do you have?
Aaron said that he's going to visit Armand with a ski mask and a crowbar and a cup of who knows what.
Oh, you have a gem there? That's cool.
So I had one question for you before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Mr. Jason Polig is wondering what your favorite film camera to work with is.
I mean, it just depends on what it's for, really. I mean, it's no secret that this is the easiest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's literally just in your hand as you're walking around and you're just kind of firing at will. And it's good for when I use it and where I use it. I like the Leica M6.
It's a beautiful camera.
You know, as well. And then the 4x5. You know, when I'm just kind of out quietly, aimlessly driving around, it's nice to pull into somewhere and take the tripod out of the trunk and you know, that's nice to, and I like the, you know, I like the look of the Portra through the old, the lens that I use on my 4x5 is an old Kodak Ektar lens from 1941.
Yeah.
It's kind of flat, low contrast. I don't think it's coated. And I
like
like that sort of muted, washed out, kind of smooth color palette for certain things. But then like the grainier, more saturated Kodak Gold 200 for certain things. It just kind of depends, you know?
Yeah. And the 4x, it's a Wista, wooden Wista that you've been rocking, right?
I was using a speed graphic for a number of years, but I got to probably send it to Armand to just kind of go through it, but it's all sticky and janky and banged up. I got a nice wooden Wista from Ray Molinar, and then I had SK Grimes. They make lens boards on the East Coast. It's a machine shop. They made a Wista lens board for my the Ektar lens. Oh, nice. So I have a much easier and smoother 4x5 camera, but I get to use the old glass on it. So that's what I'm using for 4x5.
I've got the metal Wista, and I absolutely love that camera.
Yeah,
like it's such a dream to work with.
It's so light.
Yeah, the metal one is not light.
Yeah, it's so light and compact, and
I think the metal 4x5 weighs almost as much as the Deerdorf does, which is kind of bonkers.
But you know what's funny is the last road trip I took with Ray Molinar, we only had the 4x5 cameras. And because I had been doing a bunch of morning walks with this, when we were driving around, we were in Arizona, and I think we went to Arizona. What's that hilly town in Arizona that's really haunted?
I'm not sure.
It's really cool. I had been there before, but I found myself missing this. Oh. For the first time. Because normally when I'm kind of just out roaming around in the car, I'm only with the 4x5 in my head, you know what I mean? But this last road trip, because I had been using this so much, I was like, and maybe that's just me getting a little bit older, like, oh, I could have just fired away driving down this road right here and not had to, you know, get out and set up the camera. Like, it's just so much easier with this fucking thing. Do you know what I mean? I found myself missing this. So I think next time I go out, I'm going to have the smaller camera and the 4x5.
That's a good idea.
So that I can, if I'm feeling kind of motivated to shoot something with the 4x5, but then have the quickness as I'm just kind of roaming, you know what I mean, with this thing. So I'm gonna bring this out, or the M6 next time I hadn't done it since Oklahoma. I had the medium format, the large format, and the 35 for Oklahoma. But this thing, I mean, is just so quick.
And Galveston, was that all 4x5, or did you use 35?
4x5 and 35 with the M6. Nice. Yeah. But yeah, this thing, these can kind of spoil you.
They're nice.
You know?
The 28 I'd like to find one, but they're so bloody expensive now.
They are expensive.
Yeah.
There you go.
Last question.
Yeah.
Because like we probably need to wrap up and deal with the kids and stuff.
Dinner time, bath time.
Yeah.
What time is it? 6:40.
Yeah, 6:40.
Nice.
I think a lot of people were surprised to hear that you left Texas.
Oh.
Because there's some people that still think you were in Texas.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
it. Oh, yeah. I sometimes get like questions through Instagram, like, "What part of Texas do you live in?"
Yeah.
No.
So just like you guys just missed California, or?
Well, we have a lot of amazing friends in Texas. Some of the most incredible people. We met some amazing people there. We had 2 more kids there. My wife started her brand, Oddbird Company. I published a couple of books, and we met just some amazing people.
Yeah.
But it just kind of felt like our run there was done. You know what I mean? Shorter than expected. But we love Texas, and we love the people, and of course we're friends with everybody still to this day.
Yeah.
And it was a very fruitful, productive 4 years, you know?
Denton's a pretty magical spot.
It's great. I mean, certainly it's a shame to see how fast it's developing. That was something that was bothersome to us, that, you know, it seemed like every 2 weeks there was another strip mall popping up.
Yeah.
That was a big bummer. And, you know, the road we lived on the outskirts, and we had some land. You know, pretty much every month you would drive home from the square, you know, under the 35W freeway. There would be a new building popping up, a new business.
Getting closer
and it was just encroaching. And then they built a big gas plant kind of out where we were. With the big smokestacks, and that was kind of a bummer. And it was kind of like a combination of, we were meant to be there. It was so fruitful and productive and so fulfilling and amazing, but kind of missing the West Coast a little bit. And then just Denton's so cool, but growing a little too fast. There's so much construction in the tri-state area. Is that what they call it? The
DFW.
The DF, you know, Denton, isn't there a name for the triangle? But, you know, Dallas, Fort Worth, Denton, you know, just tremendous development and constant construction, which is great, whatever, but it was just, it didn't feel as remote after a while where we were. It felt like there was just constant construction and development.
I kind of noticed that when I was back.
Like going the different times you've come back, did you notice more stuff popping up?
Well, so it's been 3 years since I've been back because of like all this shit that's been going on. And it felt bigger. Like it didn't have the same feel anymore. Because like the first time I went in 2018, I kind of liked that it had the sort of like a sleepy quality to it kind of thing.
And I remember I went there first in 2004.
Oh shit.
Right? And to see the Midlake guys, the band Midlake. And we made a music video. And it definitely had more of that feel, you know.
Dude, the Coach Frank music video kills me.
And then we lived on the outskirts, and it was, you know, a nice quiet kind of road, and all you would see was, you know, you would just see cows and stuff like that. And then after a while you started seeing like massive business. That whole area is is becoming like a business complex, like an industrial, where all the cows used to be.
Eric said Jerome, Arizona.
Jerome, Arizona is amazing. It's so trippy and haunted, and it's way up on a hill, and you see everything down below. But
Alan was saying M6 show at one of the Leica galleries, ?
Say again?
M6 show at one of the Leica galleries, ?
Actually, in May, Alan, I'm doing an exhibition at Leica Gallery, London, around the time of Photo London.
Oh, that's exciting.
But, yeah, I mean, would love to do more with Leica for sure. But yeah, I'm very excited about that. I'm going to show photos. I did a book a couple of years ago called In the Gold Dust Rush with Stanley Barker.
Yeah.
They are a UK publisher. And so they are working with Leica Gallery London to do a show. And we're gonna use that opportunity to release the special edition copies of that book.
Oh, cool.
So that's something we're gearing up to do for May of next year.
That one was a hardcover and stuff, so it's going to be different with.
Yeah, it'll come with a slip. We're gonna do a certain amount that come with a slip cover and a signed print,
Nice.
and all. We're gonna do like a special edition version of that.
And you still doing the Plainview special edition?
We're gonna re-release a plain view as well at some point, and then do the Oklahoma book as well, which we never did. So
Yeah.
there's a few things on the sort of projects list.
Cruise ship.
Cruise ship was pandemic.
Oh.
It was, we have to reprint this, but we can't get the paper. And then this happened, and we had to move from this plant to that plant because it was right in the heart of everything, just
Yeah.
taking a nosedive. And I couldn't dedicate any more time to it because I had to start making the book with Stanley Barker because we had a deadline on that.
Oh, okay.
So it was that hard decision of like, I have to just let it go for now and focus on the Stanley Barker book, which had like a deadline.
Yeah.
Because Cruise Ship was self-published through
Yeah,
Film Photographic. Stanley Barker had sort of like a
They're like,
schedule. So
come on, buddy.
I had to abandon that and work on the Stanley Barker book.
Okay.
So, but Cruise Ship could happen, Oklahoma will happen, and then a second printing of a plain view.
Nice.
Just trying to manage,
Yeah.
when all of that can happen. But that's the idea anyway.
Are you looking at maybe building up Film Photographic a bit more to like bring in other photographers?
That's the
to
idea.
publish,
That's
or-
the idea. It's hard though. I mean, that's sort of the idea with Film Photographic originally was to publish books. And then we started an Instagram page and we started sharing, that was honestly a little bit hard to keep up with. And so I thought, you know what, I kind of just want to take a little bit of a break from that for now in terms of it being like a big film community. Unbelievably, such an honor to have so many people share their work. And it was so inspiring. I think we had so many like people tagging Film Photographic.
Hi, Edie.
So cool. But it just was a lot to manage.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what, let's just kind of take a break from that side of it for a minute and just see if we can't just focus on books for a while and see how that goes. But even that's tough because, it's hard to dedicate, to find the time needed to dedicate to making books as like an ongoing kind of publisher.
Yeah.
So it might be a book every 3 years or something like that.
That's
But the
cool.
idea is to publish new people and as diverse a group as we can and all of that. But it's just, again, it's with all that we have going on, all the skateboarding stuff and all the kids that we have and
You guys have
and
been
you know what I mean?
going-
It's a lot to kind of
You guys have been going on beast mode with stereo.
stereo is, and the specialty projects that we're doing with Prime, like the reissues and stuff like that, there always seems to be something going on. But the book stuff is super important, but it's just another thing that requires a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what, sweetheart? I'm so
all
sorry. I
gum.
gave Birdie the last piece of gum.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, we will hopefully continue to make books, and we hope for the best with that. It's just a lot of work.
I can only imagine. Like,
No.
I've done a couple self-published ones. and,
Yeah.
like, that was a lot of work just
Yeah.
doing that. And then I had an idea, like, during pandemic times to, like, do a thing to help other people,
Yeah.
like, make books. Because a
Yeah.
bunch of people were, like, wanting help with that. And they're like, I have all these pictures, but I don't know what
Yeah.
to do. And, like,
It's really tricky,
It's a lot of time.
Like if that, what Clint does with Deadbeat Club, he's very efficient and he gets a lot done. You know what I mean? And then Mac books and Stanley Barker, MACK books,
Yeah.
right? And Stanley Barker. These are people that are just like every day. That's their focus is like making books, and it's all dialed in. The dream is to eventually get there if possible, but there's so much other stuff going on as well. So anyway.
Yeah, the Deanna Templeton book they put out was awesome.
Yeah.
Such a great book.
Yeah, that's right.
What she said.
Yep.
Yeah.
Based on a Smiths song.
Beautifully done too.
Beautifully. They make beautiful books, Mac books. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Clint Woodside does the Deadbeat Club calendar, and he's doing a few books a year, I think.
That's
and
cool.
Stanley Barker, I think they do like 10 books a year. I mean, it takes a
That's
minute
kinda
to get
wild.
to that place, I think. You know what I mean? Where you're doing 10 books a year.
Yeah.
You're dialed in, you know what I mean? I'd like to get there at some point, you know. Maybe not 10 books, but maybe 2 a year or something like that.
Well, the quality of your guys' books is great. Like Raymond's book, so nice.
Raymond's Polaroid's book is beautiful. It turned
Oh.
out great, yeah.
I'm a little miffed because like someone was visiting and they were looking at it and they put it down on my kitchen counter and there was like some oil on the thing, and so it's like I have like an oil splotch on the back of it now, and I'm like,
Oh.
but you know,
You got to clean your counters after you cook food, Merlin, right?
yeah, it was a tiny apartment is the problem.
What kind of oil was it?
I think olive oil.
Olive oil? Were you making pasta?
No. I can't remember what I was cooking now. I was making a curry.
Let's end it like this. If you could only use one camera, it would be what?
Like one that I own, or like
One that you own.
one that my Nikon F5.
Your Nikon F5, great camera.
How about you?
Probably the Wista 4x5 with the old Ektar lens.
As a beauty.
Or just any 4x5 with that Ektar lens on it. Food.
Oh, food. Oh, jeez. Any food. And
I
if
mean,
you
these
just
are probably boring questions, but I'm just curious.
no, I like questions like these though. It's the only thing you're
Yeah,
eating.
it's the best food you've ever eaten.
Oh, the best food I've ever eaten.
Or yeah, your
Dude,
favorite
okay.
food.
The best food I've ever eaten was at this place in Vancouver that's gone now. It was called it used to be it's called Autostrada now, but it had a different name before. Still the same owner, Chef Lucas. The guy's brilliant. But they used to do this thing, Chinara is what it was called. It was in Homer and Pender Street under the old Victorian Hotel. Beautiful spot, tiny little restaurant. But they did this, their menu was different every day, depending on what they got in. And Lucas would do a daily chef's sort of like surprise kind of thing. It was like a 5-course meal.
Yeah.
And all they would ask you is, do you have any food allergies or food fears? And then they would
That's it, and they would just bring you.
Yeah, and you just eat whatever they bring you.
They would bring you giraffe tail,
It
bunny
wasn't-
rabbit ears.
It wasn't anything that weird, but the very first time I went there, and this got me hooked, he made this pork raviolo. This is like a big like ravioli
Wow.
basically, but it was made from rendered pig heads.
So that's gnarly.
He did like a crazy catering thing, and he had
And it
these-
was the best pig head ravioli
Dude,
you've ever had.
He's like, I have these 5 pig heads. I don't know what to do with them. So he like rendered them down, got all the meat off of them, made
Okay.
like a thick, rich stock out of it, and then used that stock to make a cream sauce that he mixed with the pork meat, and then took fresh peas and like stuffed these raviolos with them, and then drizzled the cream sauce on top.
That's incredible.
And like when I ate it, it was like you have a tear moment. Like
Wow,
it was
that's
just
amazing.
like such an amazing thing to eat.
You should find out where this guy is now.
Oh, he's still in Vancouver.
Oh,
He runs a chain called Autostrada now, but it's not quite the same as Chinara used to be. It's a little more like
Wow,
commercialized. What about you?
Mediterranean food.
Mediterranean food's great.
My wife is Turkish.
Dude, I've seen the stories of like your guys.
Oh yeah, we
cookouts.
use the Turkish stove. Mediterranean food.
The only music you could listen to.
That's way too difficult.
Way too difficult.
Uh,
That's fair. I do have to say though, like, you are an amazing music guy. There was the last time I did mushrooms was during the pandemic in Toronto,
wow.
and we were talking on Instagram, and I don't.
And you were just blasting Slayer.
No. I didn't tell you I was on mushrooms, but you were giving me music recommendations.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
And it was like one of the best trips I've ever had. 'Cause,
Whoa.
Like, you know, all these recommendations. Blind Willie McTell.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of the old blues stuff, huh?
Yeah, that was so good. And then you're like, and when you're ready for bed, put on Miles Davis.
Kind of Blue.
Yes.
Flamenco Sketches is like my favorite song of all time.
Yeah.
It's
and
the
like,
last track on Kind of Blue. Jazz would be my music.
Yeah.
Probably because you can do sort of like more up-tempo, sort of bebop jazz, and then you can listen to In a Silent Way by Miles Davis.
That was the one. That was the bedtime one you gave
where it's
me.
2 tracks.
Yeah.
And then, so there's so much variety within it. And you can even listen to like mellow stuff where Charlie Parker did a record called Charlie Parker with Strings. So it's got that kind of sweeping, kind of mellow vibe. And then you can listen to Ornette Coleman and Charlie Mingus and the more kind of experimental, sometimes hard to listen to shit.
Yeah.
But that works sometimes when you're in that zone.
Yeah.
And then the more mellow, like Flamenco Sketches off of Kind of Blue that song breaks me every time. So within one genre, you can get so many different feelings. So that's why I would put jazz as number 1.
It's a great genre.
Yeah.
And also like a big inspiration for stereo, right?
Huge. Yeah. Chris Pastras, my partner at Stereo, his dad is a big jazz aficionado, jazz player. He wrote a book on Jelly Roll Morton, and he knows a ton about jazz. Chris brought that flavor to Stereo. Huh?
That food is here.
Oh, food is here? Okay,
All right,
so
well,
it's time to sign off.
On that
I
note,
hope nobody was too bored.
I don't think anyone was bored at all with it. We
Mommy,
kept a good
Daddy?
group of
Yeah?
people.
Daddy,
Is it time for dinner?
Mommy's in the bath.
Okay,
Oh.
so I'm going to go make dinner, yeah? Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, awesome, Merlin.
Oh, dude, thank you so much.
So awesome. Come by anytime.
Well, thank you.
This is the second time we've done this.
Yes.
It's such an honor, and I'm stoked that this is the 39th time you've done this,
Well,
right?
This-
This is episode 39.
this year.
Yeah.
Of this year.
Of this year.
Yeah, I'm in season 3.
How many episodes have you done?
Like 100 and...
What? I was way off.
Yeah, I had like
Samsonite. I was way off.
Mary Sampson.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I always think about with Dumb and Dumber? He's Lloyd Christmas.
Yeah.
She's Mary Swanson.
Merry Christmas.
I feel like it's a little hint at the very beginning of the movie that it's not going to happen. Because there's no way somebody could be named Merry Christmas.
Dude, so I had a little bit of...
Right? I don't know if anybody's caught that, but that Dumb and Dumber is one of my favorite movies of all time.
What was Jeff's name in it? Because there's Lloyd Christmas and then...
Yeah, Lloyd Christmas and Harry Dunn.
Yeah, so I had a Harry moment at Tim Mariugo's house
Uh-huh.
before we came to your house.
Okay.
I'm like, hey Tim, can I use your washroom?
Oh, and it didn't. You dropped a huge deuce, and it didn't flush.
So it wasn't that it was a huge deuce. It was a travel deuce. So
It was like a gnarly travel deuce. You Merlin that guy's bathroom. You straight up put some wisdom. You put up some sorcery shit
Yeah, I
in
had
that
a
bathroom.
Harry moment with it because I was like, I'm looking, and I'm like, fuck, there's like no plunger. And
Was there
I'm
a
like,
window?
Well, it wasn't a stinky one, but it was just like it wasn't flushing. And then I'm like, do I try again? The water's too high. I'm like, I can't try again. And I'm like, do I like punch it and just like really wash my hands really well? Because like this is the first time.
Wait,
I'm
you
meeting
mean
Tim.
physically punch the water with your hand?
No, like punch the poo to like make it go.
Oh, dude,
And, like,
I'm about to have dinner, dude. That's nasty.
I was having a real panic moment, and it reminded me of Dumb and Dumber. And then I was like, I just gotta own this. And I came out and I was like, Tim, do you have a plunger? I'm really embarrassed. And he's like, what did you do? And I'm like, what do you need a plunger for in a bathroom, Tim?
That's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
but you had no choice. You had to say something.
I had to say something.
Because if you left and didn't say something and he found it, he would have known it was you.
Yeah, there's no way.
Because it was probably just you two in the house.
Yeah. See, I could have like pled ignorance if I used the same bathroom as Armand, because Armand used the upstairs bathroom, and I was waiting to use that one. And Tim's
Did
like,
he know which bathroom you were using?
Yes.
He did.
He's
Because
like,
if he didn't know, you could have said, "Oh,
Yeah.
I tried to use that bathroom, but it had mad deuce in it."
Then I was terrified to use your bathroom when we got here, because like we went from Tim's house here, so I used the Starbucks bathroom up on like over there. Because I was like, I can't ruin 2 bathrooms in one day.
Wow,
Like,
man.
it just,
You are the bathroom destroyer.
it was fucking embarrassing.
Wow. I'm glad we're ending this thing talking about deuces. You went deuces wild
I went deuces wild.
in that guy's toilet.
Oh shit, Octavia Sharp. The episode with her was fucking hilarious because I learned from her that if you eat nothing but Fruit Loops for a whole day, you like shit the rainbow.
Dude, this is turning into like a shit talking podcast. Hi, tune in here with Merlin where we talk shit. Literally.
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
Did you try the Fruit Loop rainbow shit?
No, no. But I did when I was a younger guy and was living off of like Campbell's Hearty Soups for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
I tried the chowder and that terrified me. I thought I was dying because I'm like, what is that? Like it looked like it was street chalk in the...
You are nasty, Merlin. You are no longer allowed to use my toilet. Even if you say it's just a number 1.
It will always be a number 1.
You're banned.
Oh. And on that note, thank you for spending some time on the chat with me. Next week, I'm going to have Ethan, a.k.a. Cameradactyl, on the chat. And yeah, I'll play the exit music here. And let Mr. Mocha walk us out. This podcast caught fire after the photo. I mean, it happens sometimes. It gets weird on the chat.
That's all right. It's real. That's the point.
Aaron
Right?
Lopez is brought to you by Charmin. So we need sponsorship from 2. It's like, the photo chat brought to you by Pellegrino and also by Charmin, Extra Strong. Because, you want to have that extra strength for those.
Oh, yeah.
For
The
those
4-ply. You need
Exactly.
you need the 8-ply.
Yeah, they're 10-ply.
Yeah.
At certain times. The Pellegrino thing reminded me of that skate talk you did.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so fun.
I'm all about drink.
Yes.
Drink.
Yeah.
You gave camera, food. What about drink?
Oh, drink. Coffee.
Me too.
Yeah, I couldn't give
Me
that
too.
one up.
I'm going to go make another coffee right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. And stay safe out there. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that one's done. That one's done.